Have you ever wondered what would happen if Earth, our little blue marble, suddenly went dark? Not just a power outage, but a complete, deafening silence across every frequency, every spectrum. A silence so profound it echoes through the void of space. This is the story of the day Earth went silent, and why the rest of the galaxy, in all its sprawling, ancient glory, shuddered in absolute terror. In the grand cosmic theater, Earth was considered a backwater. A Class 4 death world, teeming with its dominant species, was a chaotic, self-destructive race of apes who had somehow, against all odds, clawed their way to a Type 0.7 civilization. They were fragile, yet stubbornly resilient. They fought each other constantly, yet their capacity for cooperation was terrifying. To the elder races of the galactic concordance, humanity was a curiosity, a cosmic toddler playing with matches. They were observed, studied, but ultimately dismissed. After all, what threat could they possibly be? The concordance had seen empires rise and fall. They had charted the birth of stars and mourned the death of galaxies. They operated on timescales that made human history look like a fleeting blink. Their motto was order through observation. They had strict non-interference pacts, especially for volatile pre-FTL species, like humans. Contact was forbidden until a species proved its maturity by achieving unified, peaceful space travel. Humanity, with its endless wars and internal strife, was nowhere close. But then came the silence. It happened without warning. One galactic standard cycle. Earth was a cacophony of noise radio waves. Television broadcasts, satellite chatter, the digital screams of a billion interconnected minds. The next cycle, it was gone. Not faded, not garbled, gone. The entire electromagnetic signature of the planet vanished as if it had been snuffed out by a cosmic hand. At first, the observation posts on the edge of the Sol system thought it was a technical glitch. They rebooted systems, ran diagnostics. But the silence remained. It was a perfect, unnatural void where a world of noise used to be. The news rippled through the subspace relays, reaching the core worlds of the concordance. Initial reactions were a mix of confusion and mild concern. Had the humans finally done it? Had they unleashed some weapon that wiped them all out in an instant? A tragedy, perhaps, but a predictable one. A somber note would be made in the galactic archives, and life would go on. But the fear didn't come from the silence itself. It came from what happened next. Deep in the Perseus Arm, the Cathar Dominion, a race of silicon-based warriors known for their brutality and expansionist hunger, was on the march, too. They had been carving a bloody path through the outer territories, their fleets seemingly unstoppable. They were just about to lay siege to the peaceful colony on Cygnus X1 when their entire armada abruptly stopped. Their battle cries, which had echoed across subspace, ceased. Their fleets turned around, not in a tactical retreat, but in a full-blown, panicked rout. Heading as far away from the Sol system as their drives could carry them, they abandoned newly conquered worlds without a second thought. The Cathar, who feared nothing, were running for their lives. Then, reports flooded in from the Orion spur. The Zorg, a hive mind species that consumed entire biomes, suddenly went dormant. Their trillion-strong swarms, which were devouring the jungle moons of Yggdrasil, simply stopped. They burrowed deep underground, their collective psychic presence shrinking into a tight ball of pure, undiluted fear. Across the galaxy, the same story repeated. The most aggressive, predatory, and fearsome species in the known universe were simultaneously struck by a wave of primal terror. The slaver guilds of Rigel abandoned their roots. The void kroken of the Abyssal Nebula retreated into their dark cocoons. These weren't ricers that cared about a pre-FTL species annihilating itself. Their fear was not of the silence, but of what had caused it. The High Council of the Concordance convened in an emergency session. Their greatest minds and most powerful precogs were tasked with one thing: find out what happened to Earth. Their deep space telescopes, capable of seeing a person blink on a planet 1,000 light-years away, were focused on Earth. What they saw sent a chill through even the most stoic of council members. Earth was still there, intact. Its cities were dark, its oceans were calm. There were no signs of nuclear winter, no asteroid impacts, no stellar flares. The planet was physically pristine. But it was empty. Not a single life sign could be detected. Not human, not animal, not even microbial. It was as if every single living thing had been surgically removed from the planet's surface, leaving behind nothing but sterile rock and water. The Concordance sent a probe. A small, stealthy, top-of-the-line reconnaissance drone designed to be undetectable. It crossed the Oort cloud, past the silent hulks of human space stations, and entered Earth's atmosphere. For a few precious moments, it transmitted data. Images of empty cities, cars sitting in silent traffic jams, homes with tables set for dinner. Everything was perfectly preserved, a museum of a dead world. And then the probe sent one final, garbled transmission before it. Two went silent. The transmission was mostly static, but the Concordance's best analysts managed to decrypt a single, fragmented audio file. It wasn't a warning or a message. It was a sound. A sound that didn't belong. It was a low, rhythmic hum, almost like a whisper, yet it felt as ancient as the universe itself. And woven within that hum was a single, repeating phrase, not in any known galactic language, but somehow universally understood. We're awake now. That's when the galaxy finally understood. The constant noise from Earth, the chaos, the wars, the broadcasts, it wasn't just noise. It was a cage. A psychic barrier of pure, unfiltered bedlam that kept something asleep. Humori, in all its violent, messy glory, was the unwitting jailer of a horror beyond comprehension. They were so loud, so chaotic, that their collective psychic scream kept the thing dormant. The Death World classification wasn't because of the predators or the environment. It was because of what was sleeping beneath it all. The elder races hadn't been observing humanity. They had been observing the prison. They had prayed that humanity's self-destructive nature would last forever, that their noise would never cease. But humanity had finally achieved peace. Or perhaps they were wiped out by a force so swift and so absolute that it created a moment of perfect, planetary silence. And in that single, fleeting moment of quiet, the lock was broken. The prisoner stirred. The silence from Earth wasn't the sound of a species dying. It was the sound of a cosmic alarm clock going off, with the sound of a doorknob turning. The galaxy wasn't mourning the loss of humanity. They were mourning the loss of their shield. The silence didn't mean Earth was gone. It meant that whatever was on Earth was now free. And the galaxy, which had looked upon humanity with such disdain, now knew that the chaotic, noisy little apes had been their last, best hope. The day Earth went silent was the day the rest of the galaxies started praying. But they all knew, deep down, that no one was listening anymore. The age of chaos was over. The age of silence had begun. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy exploring these cosmic what-ifs, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you do miss our next journey into the unknown. See you next time.